I was at a movie that was all about education, talking about education and how it's dumbing down our kids. And this was held at the National Archives and Library, where I find myself quite frequently now being a big supporter of the Free Thinking Society. So there once was a free thinker named Fred who was renowned for hitting the nail on the head. Security threats he has faced, for the truth he has chased. He now has become a voice of progressives now dread. Fred Litwin, Free Thinking Society.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for having me. If you don't know who I am, I run the Free Thinking Film Society. And we show films and bring in speakers to the archives on topics that nobody else will talk about. So earlier this year we did a pro seal hunt film, which was really amazing, and I got the sealers in the Mangled Islands to donate some free seal meat. So we had a film and seal meat for people, which was quite fun. Last Tuesday we did a film on political correctness in the universities, which was a fantastic little film. We've got a whole bunch of activities planned that are upcoming. On April 10th, our event is going to be a speaker from the US launching a book on anti-Semitism in the Muslim world. So you won't want to miss that and possibly get his book. Neil Kressel, I'm flying him in from the States, is a topic that nobody wants to talk about. There's a lot of anti-Semitism that goes on in the Muslim world. In May, I'm bringing in Daniel Pipes, who is one of the preeminent speakers on Islam and the problems in the Middle East. And in June, I'm bringing in one of the most, a film that's taken the country of Poland by storm. I want to tell you more than that, but it's an amazing Polish film in June. I want to talk a bit about language a bit. I worked in Singapore for 3.5 years. Singapore is a small little country. It's an island. It's like 40 kilometers side to side and top to bottom. It used to be part of Malaysia. They were kicked out of Malaysia in 1965, and they had to become independent. I lived there for 3.5 years, and in Singapore they have 4 official languages. They got English, Mandarin, Malay, and Tamil, reflecting the fact that 70% of the population is Chinese, 20% is Malay, around 10% is Indian, but to bind everybody together they speak English. But with 4 official languages, they've decided the only language they speak in government is English.
That's right.
It's the only thing that makes sense. And so, when you drive around Singapore, the street signs are only in English. The street names are only in English. That is the language that they decided is only makes sense. Now, what's even more amazing is, you know how it's important to get the translation right of words. So the Prime Minister of Singapore is typically Chinese, speaks Mandarin. When the Prime Minister of Singapore goes to China, he's not allowed to speak Mandarin. He can only speak in English and have the official translation by the Foreign Affairs Ministry. That way they get it right. So he can't even though he understands it and speaks it, he must only speak English. It's an amazing little story of success, of how things are run so efficiently. And the sad fact of the matter is that you can't really run a government, you can't run a corporation having multiple languages being used internally. It just doesn't work. And that's a sad fact. And the even sadder fact about Canada is that the story of the trampling of language rights, English language rights in Quebec, is one of the most horrible stories that will never be told in our history books. It's absolutely an amazingly horrible story of shame of what went on in Canada. I'm from Quebec. I know what happened. It's pretty horrible. Anyways, I just want to wrap up on a brighter topic, the CBC.
Making our day.
Some of you may have bought Brian Lilly's really good book on the CBC. A year and a half ago, we made our own documentary on the CBC. So we have a documentary on the biases of the CBC. It covers their bias against conservatives and their bias against Israel. So if you don't have a copy, give me your business card. It's $20. It's a great little documentary. and it helps out the Free Thinking Film Society at the same time. Please get on our email list so you keep informed of what we're doing, and I'll see you on April 10th for anti-Semitism in the Muslim world. Thank you very much.